I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making this quick and simple Summit Bracelet featuring our one-hole halo beads. If you need any supplies like the halos or the melons, click below to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. To begin the Summit Bracelet, you're going to put 2 needles on a white piece of 0.006 wildfire beading thread, about 5 feet. That's going to leave you with about 2.5 feet on each side of your thread. I put 3 11-0 seed beads on the bottom of my thread, and I'm going to put on one of my cup buttons in the opal color. I'm going to put it face down so those 3 11-0 seed beads in the frosted opaque glaze Cadet in the Miyuki brand are in the bottom there and just kind of adding to the edge of it. From here, I want you to take 1, 2, and 3 of your 11-0 seed beads and put them each on one of your needles. Make sure your thread matches in length as you drop that down next to the cup button. From here, we're going to pick up one of our 15-0s. And this 15-0, you might need to separate your needles, and I'm using the Duracoat Galvanized Champagne to do so. And I'm going to separate the needles so that way I have both needles going through the same direction through that 15-0. Drop that down next to those 3 seed beads, and then you're going to pick up your first melon. I'm using the Crystal Gold Wash melon in the 8mm, and then I have the blue in the 6mm. I'm going to drop both needles through that melon bead and let that go next to the piece. From here, I'm going to separate out the needles. And as I separate out the needles, I want one more gold bead right after the melon, just to highlight it a little bit. And then we're going to split and put again 1, 2, 3 11s. Then I'm going to pick up one of my crystals, and I'm using the opal color AB in the 1.5 by 2mm rondelles, and then one more 11-0 seed bead. You're going to do everything that you do with the right needle, you're also going to do with the left. After you have these seed beads and crystals on your thread and needle, you're going to get ready to add your first halo bead. The halos are going to sit so the holes are opposite of the actual bracelet. So I have my halo here. I'm going to take my 6mm melon bead, drop it in the center of the halo, just kind of round it out till I find the hole, and take one needle from the right hand side and push it toward the left. The other needle, you're going to go from the left toward the right. So they're going to crisscross through the halo as well as through that melon. Pulling that down next to the piece, make sure that you again still have the same amount of thread on each side. Coming out the piece then, we're going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to grab one of your 11s, one of your crystals, and then 1, 2, 3 of your 11-0 seed beads, and your 1 of your champagne 15. On the other side, same deal. 1 of your 11, 1 crystal, 3 11s, and this time instead of adding another champagne style bead, you're going to take your thread and needle back through that one that's already there. Give a nice tight grab, and that'll decorate the outside of the halo. Now you can see that it's kind of flipping around. That will correct itself as we come back down the piece. From here, it's the exact same pattern over and over. So you're going in, you're picking up your next 8mm of your melon bead, splitting your needles then, and repeating, adding in your halo bead. When you finish coming out of your last melon, and to give you an idea, I have a total of 7 melons on my wrist for about a 6.5 inch wrist and a little bit bigger to put the clasp on there. And if you want to, you can have 8 on, that's up to you. I've gone ahead and I've strung on just like I would around the side of the halo bead to make the loop match. 3 11-0s after my 15-0, 1 crystal, 1 of my 11-0s, and then 20 of my 15-0s, followed by 1 11-0, 1 crystal, 3 more 11-0s. I'm going to take that thread and needle, so I've just put that on one thread, and I'm going to go back through that 15-0 seed bead. With the other thread, I'm going to do the exact same rotation, going through all of these beads, reinforcing the clasp. If you're doing a clasp garden clasp, a Potomac's clasp, any sort of clasp that is going to be metal, I always recommend using a wire guard or a wire protector, and you do that now as well. And I should have mentioned back at the beginning that if you are using a clasp, that was the time to add it as well. All right, so I've reinforced this loop clasp. Always a great idea to do whenever you're at the clasp. You always want to make sure to reinforce it. Coming out here, I'm going to take my thread and needle. We're going to exit through the 15-0. For this first one here. Bring your thread and needle and just give a nice tight pull so you don't have any extra thread showing along the piece. As you're coming out of the 15-0, you can see I've already done a little bit on the left-hand side here, so you can get the look and feel for what it's going to look like with the 15-0s along the side. I'm coming out of my 15-0 there, and I'm going to add 11 of my 15s onto my thread and needle. I want you to go around the side of the melon bead. You're going to skip over bead number 1 of your 11 O's when you get to the other side, and you're going to sew through bead number 2 and then up the line. And that's just going to decorate the outer edge. From here, in between your halo on the side, I want you to put 1 15, one of your crystals, and 1 15. Sew through your next grouping of 11 crystal, 2 11s, and out before the last 11-0 seed bead. When you're out before that last 11-0 seed bead, you're going to continue the same thing the whole way up, adding in 11 more, or sorry, after that last 11-0 seed bead, you're going to add 11 more 15-0 seed beads, skip 11-0 seed bead number 1, sew through the side, add your crystal, and continue up along the piece in that same exact fashion, adding in the 15s along the sides of the melon just to decorate, and the crystals along the side of the halo bead. Once you reach the end of the bracelet here, I have my last 11 beads on, and I'm going to skip over that 15-0 and sew right into my 11-0 seed beads. Going up through the button then, I'm going to crisscross my thread down here along the side, come out through the button. Usually you can do that through the seed beads, down through the button, and you can see I've already started on the other side. And then I'm going to bring my thread and needle out right after my 11-0 seed beads. So I've done it on the other side. I'm coming back down through the cup button. That's going to reinforce and get us 3 threads through that cup button. Coming out the bottom then, go back through the 11-0 seed beads. And right after the 11-0 seed beads, prior to my melon, I'm just going to tie my 2 thread ends together. These are nice, snowy kind of colors. That's why I named it Summit. It reminded me of the top of a mountain as you get to that snow-covered glacier area. You're just going to take your thread burner and burn down your thread edges. Burn your thread edges flush against the project. And then you get to wear your piece. So if you have any sort of 8mm beads and 6s, this can really be altered and changed. I can't wait to actually see all of the different versions of this bracelet on the Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. Make sure to post pictures of your Summit design as well. It would look great with some pearls, some 8s and some 6s, some gemstones, and really have fun encapsulating, even using maybe some Miyuki teardrops along the outer edge. As always, thanks so much for joining me in creating this fun Summit bracelet. Remember, if you do need any materials, you can check the links below to shop with us online. In addition, make sure that you comment below with any changes, ideas, suggestions, or questions you may have. You can also subscribe to become a member of this amazing beading community to get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads as we grow this awesome craft. As always, thanks so much for watching and enjoy your Summit bracelet.